Delayed payments is one of the biggest bottlenecks for most businesses out there. You send the invoice and the client takes forever to pay you, even after the due date. So I sought out for a solution and I found it. An advanced AI system that automatically calls customers with overdue invoices, reminding them to pay up. Here's a demo. So let me pick up.
Hello, this is John from Big Rip Technology. Is this Delta Enterprises?
Yes, it is.
Hey, thanks for confirming. So I'm calling about your invoice number WAN004. It's overdue by 36 days now. It's for the hardware installation and maintenance of 2 units. And the amount due is $1,016.5. How can we sort this out today?
Actually, today's a bit tricky. You've caught us on a bad day.
I get that. Life gets busy, yeah? When do you think would work for you to settle it? We just like to avoid any late fees or issues down the line.
Okay, is there a way we can settle for some partial payments?
Yeah, we can work something out. If you can cover like 70% today, we could maybe extend the remaining 30% for another couple of weeks. Does that sound okay to you?
Can we bring it down to 50% today?
Sure, we can do that. If you pay 50% today, we'll extend the rest for 2 weeks. Just make sure to settle the remaining amount by then to avoid any fees. Sound good?
I think that sounds good.
Great. Once we get the payment confirmation for the 50%, I'll send you an updated agreement. Thanks for working with us on this. Anything else you need help with?
No, I think that's good. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And here if I go to my invoices database, I can see, so the actual invoice was this one for Delta Enterprises. Then the filter it was checking for is that the payment status is overdue. So it called me, it updated that this guy was called on this specific day. The status is that they were called, and the call summary you can see is called Delta Enterprises regarding overdue invoice for that specific invoice, discussed the overdue amount of whatever, and maintenance overdue by 30 days. Client requested to settle 50% today and agreed to pay the rest within 2 weeks. Agreed on this arrangement, awaiting confirmation of payment. So you can see it calls and also updates the database. Very, very important. So you can imagine the impact of such an AI system to any business out there. So as long as you send invoices to get clients to pay you, this ensures that you're avoiding delayed payments as much as possible, such that if a customer goes overdue on their invoice, like they're immediately called. And the good thing is we can have this at regular intervals, such that we can have it, let's say, this week, then the next week, then the next week, such that we're not spamming them like every other day, but we're just trying to follow up at regular intervals to remind them of their payments. Like the other alternative is sending them email follow-ups, but the thing is phone calls always work better. They'll always get better response rates, and they'll always work better in terms of just convincing them to pay up as soon as possible. I mean, it's real time. You can't beat that with email. So if this interests you, let's jump into the tutorial. So we're building the AI phone agent on 2 platforms, that is vapi.ai and make.com. So first of all, go to the link in the description to access all the resources that I will use within this tutorial completely for free. So that is the Vapi AI agent prompt, as well as the make.com scenarios. We're going to be working with 2 make.com scenarios, and I'll avail all of them to you for free. So go ahead and access them, then we can jump into it. So this is the AI voice agent. I'll quickly go through the system prompt because that's where the majority of work is going on, and we only have one tool that will work to save the call summary to our database. So we first start with the first message. Hello, this is John from Big Rip Technology. So the most important part is we give the AI agent access to information like the invoice number, the company name, the phone number, the current time, the due date, the description of the service that was rendered. All these details get pulled in immediately the customer picks up the phone call. So the AI will call the customer, and when the customer picks up, all this information on the customer's invoice will be pulled into the AI phone call dynamically, and I'll show you how we do that. And that's why you're seeing here we're having dynamic variables, which I have encapsulated with 2 curly braces, and I'll show you how we insert this information into the AI phone call over on make.com. So the AI's role is you are John, a caring customer support agent of Big Rip Technology. Your role is to call clients with unpaid invoices that are overdue to remind them on their unpaid invoice. you're an expert at following up on invoices. Another critical part I want to touch on is here I tell it, remember to tell them by how many days their invoice is overdue based on the current time and the invoice's due date. So if today is, let's say, 5th May and their due date was, let's say, last month, so the AI can tell between last month and today 5th May, it is 35 days that have passed. So it can be able to tell them, Mr. User, your invoice is passed by 35 days, etc. So it can dynamically calculate all this. Then here we tell it in regard to saving the details of the call to our database, just to update the details on the spreadsheet. Then we have an example script of how a typical back and forth conversation would go in order to follow up on the invoice. So the AI says this, the client says this, the AI says this, etc. So you can notice I'm just skimming through this system prompt because that's not the big part of the system. So next is attaching the tool that is going to save the call summary to our spreadsheet and update the record of that specific invoice follow-up. So I go to tools here. So to do that, just go to tools, click on the drop down, scroll down and click on create new tool. Then you can notice I've already created one here, but on your side you'll click on create tool, click on function, then give it a name of something like save invoice follow-up. Give it a description like this tool saves the summary of the invoice follow-up into our database. Ensure async is turned on. What this means is we want the AI to execute this function, but not to wait for a response from make.com. It should execute the function in the background, and the user shouldn't know that we are saving the call details into our database. Then the parameters that you need to execute this function is the call summary, the company name, and the phone number. All of them are strings. And just to quickly see that, the call summary, this is a summary of the call conversation. It's a required field. Same thing to company name. It's a required field, and this is the client's company name. Same case to phone number. This is the client's phone number. Then this server URL, I'll show you how to get it. So we'll now go to make.com and initiate this functionality. So here's the make.com scenario. On your side, create a new scenario and import blueprint. So you'll click on more, import blueprint, then you'll upload the make.com scenario that has this title of VAPI invoice follow-up end of call report. Okay, so once you have that, you'll have this scenario in place. Then what you want to do is click on this first module, click on add, then click on save. Then you'll copy address to clipboard, come back here to VAPI, then paste it in there. That's all you need to do. Then click on save. Then to attach this tool to your VAPI assistant, you'll click on assistants, go to the actual assistant, then click on tools, click on the drop down here and select the new tool that you have created. Then ensure you click on publish. So going back here to make.com. So once some data comes in from VAPI, the AI assistant, let me just show you how it's structured. We'll click on messages here. The vital information is in tool calls, function, arguments, etc. So you can see the call summary there, the company name, the phone number of the client. So once we get that, we want to search through the Google Sheets. So let me just show you. If I go here to my Google Sheets, I have a couple of rows of unpaid or even paid invoices. So you can see here, I have the rows and I have a column called payment status that determines on whether we are following up with this customer. So if it's paid, we're not following up, but if it's overdue, we follow up with them. So the AI will call them. So what we want to do is search through all these rows to see which invoice records match the specific phone number of the client. So we see we have the phone number here, as well as the payment status is overdue. So we want those two criteria to be matched. So when I click on this Google Sheets, ensure you connect to your Google account. That is simple. If you need help, just click on online help. Connect to your spreadsheet. So ensure you create a Google Sheets document. You can call it invoices, then have the following columns that you see here: invoice ID, invoice date. But on your side, just pause. You can take a screenshot just to guide you on the columns that are within this specific spreadsheet. So just pause and see those columns. I'll be honest, actually, DeepSeek, which is like a form of ChatGPT, is what helped me to create such rows. This is just dummy data. So the filter I want to check is that the phone matches the phone number that we get back from the AI assistant, then also that the payment status is overdue. Then I've just realized I had two modules that I don't actually need at the moment. In an initial scenario, I actually needed it, but today I don't need it. So once you search and get the actual row, we just need the row number, so that we can update that specific row. So this Google Sheets module returns some output. Then when I go to the output, you can see that we have the row number, and this is all we need to update that specific row. So we'll go to the Google Sheets, update a row, then we'll just see that in place, have the row number in place, and scroll down till the columns that you want to update. In this case is the date that the person was called to follow up on the invoice. You need to update this column of called to say that the customer was actually called. Then we put the summary in place. That's it. I'll provide you this template, so don't worry. Then we go to the next and final make.com scenario. This is the one that will initiate calling the customer. So it first of all makes an API call to Google Sheets to get back a list of rows. Then we want to get back a list of rows that have the status of the payment as overdue. That's the first thing. It's a Google Sheets search rows module. You can see the filter is payment status is overdue, and that the customer hasn't been called yet. You can see not equal to called. Then here we have an array aggregator. It just takes all those rows, brings them into one bundle of data that we will work with in further modules over here. So let me just show you the things you need to update. Mostly you just need to update your Google connection, so ensure you have your Google connection in place. Then you need to put in your assistant ID here. So you'll go to VAPI over here, then just underneath the name of the assistant, you'll see copy assistant ID. Copy it, come back and paste it within assistant ID over here. Then your VAPI API key, ensure you come and update it over here. So for that, you come back here to VAPI, scroll down till you see organization settings, API keys, then copy the API key over here, come back and paste it within here. Then the phone number ID, come back to VAPI over here, scroll till you see phone numbers, then on that specific phone number, copy this phone number ID, come back and paste it within here. So to add a phone number, you will need a Twilio account and a Twilio connection. So for that, you'll click on create a phone number, import Twilio, add your Twilio phone number. So I won't go through getting a Twilio phone number. It's very easy. Just create a Twilio account, a free Twilio account. Then you'll get a free Twilio phone number, your Twilio account SID, and your Twilio auth token. Those are the three things you need. There are several tutorials out there to connect your Twilio phone number to your VAPI account. So just search that, then you'll be good to go. Then here we make an API call to VAPI to retrieve the specific assistant that we want to work with to make the phone call. So that's why we pass in the assistant ID over there, then your VAPI API key. That's all you need to do. Then we have a Google Sheets iterator. This just iterates or loops through all the rows that have come back from our Google Sheets search module over here, this first one. Then this module, we just want to get the assistant that we retrieve from VAPI and save it to a variable called dynamic assistant. While we're retrieving this assistant, it will come in form of JSON so that we can use it in order to make an API call to initiate a phone call. So this will come in form of JSON data, and we want to save it into a variable called dynamic assistant. Then inserting the dynamic variables into the assistant so that we can initiate the phone call is critical. So that's why we have this module over here. Then all the dynamic variables are over here. So if I scroll, you can see it's an array, or rather a list of dynamic variables. The first one is the company name. The second one is the current time, the due date, the service description, just all the things that you're seeing here on VAPI. If I go to assistants, the invoice follow-up bot, you can see here all these dynamic variables. I insert them there accordingly and their respective values. So you can see the values are coming from this iterator that is over here. Then we get the dynamic assistant. Then we want to replace the specific tags with the relevant values. So what we're doing over here is, remember, we get some JSON data from making an API call to VAPI over here. It will come in form of JSON. So what you want to do is check through that JSON string to see whenever there is something like two curly braces encapsulating a certain word, we need to replace that word with its respective value. So for example, if I go here to VAPI, notice that in this specific, we have the specific word, which is invoice number, encapsulated with two curly braces. So this specific function of replace will replace any instance of a word encapsulated with two curly braces with its actual value. So it will replace this invoice number with the actual invoice number, something like 1234. It will replace this company name because it's encapsulated with two curly braces with the actual company name, something like Big Rip. So you can see there. So that's what it's simply doing. So you can see now the assistant, when making the AI phone call, it knows that the person's invoice number is 1234, the company name is Big Rip. So that's what we're simply doing, replacing the tag, which is this is the variable tag, with the actual value. So that's what you're seeing here. Let me just go back here to the initial module for dynamic variables. We have the tag, company name, then the value, and this tag has to match exactly how you've put it over here. So let me just Control Z and get back things the way they were. You see this company name, the way it's structured, it's case sensitive. Take it as is, then is what you'll paste it over here. It has to match exactly for it to work. So as I mentioned, it will replace all those instances of the tags with the respective values. Then here we want to bring it all into one bundle so that we can work with it in further modules. We get the dynamic assistant. Then here we pass the JSON from the dynamic assistant in order for us to whitelist the specific keys that we want to work with. So for example, the name, the model, the voice. Because notice that when the dynamic assistant is coming back from the VAPI APIs, it will come with all those details, the organization ID, the time the assistant was created, all that. But we don't need all that to initiate a phone call. That's why we want to whitelist exact things that we want to work with. Then here we transform it into a JSON string, so that now we can make an API call here. You can see the API endpoint is to make a phone call. All this you can find in the VAPI API documentation. It's a post request. Then pass in your API key there. And the things that you need to change, you don't really need to change anything over here. So you can see we need the phone number ID, the phone number of the customer that's being called, their name, which is their company name, and yeah, and the assistant that we want to work with. That's all you need to do. So yeah, that's how you're able to build an advanced AI phone agent that's able to handle calling your customers to remind them to pay up on their invoices. I mean, it's already a struggle to just be waiting on a customer to pay you. You need that cash flow to reinvest back into the business, to acquire more customers, or just to run your day-to-day operations. So you not having an AI system to call your customers to remind them to pay up is leaving a lot of money on the table. You'd be surprised that your client could have the money to pay you up today, but they just forgot because they're running a business and there's a lot they are juggling with their minds. So just reminding them actually helps in terms of bringing this cash flow up front as much as possible. Remember, your clients could have forgotten, they could be having their money, they just need to be reminded. So have this AI system call them to remind them to pay up. So yeah, if you want to work with our team to build such powerful AI systems, then there'll be a link in the description to visit our website and book in a meeting with our team. Otherwise, that's it from me. Till next time, stay savvy. Peace.